All right, so this is Professor Robert Solis. What we're going to do is we're going to allow the student to enter in a score. And then we're going to click Submit. And then I want some sort of a message to appear on this label that says something like, a 96 means you've earned an A, or a 94 means you've earned a B+, or whatever the Talbot grade scale is. Okay? So we're going to modify our program. Notice that I've named this guy TXT score. This is named BTN submit. This is named LBL result. I've taken off the minimize and the maximize button, and I have Talbot grade scale as my title. Okay. All right, so I'm going to double click the button. That'll take me to the code area. And I don't need the toolbox. I don't want you to click X. You're just simply going to click the auto hide push pin. I don't want you to click this X. I want you to just simply click the auto hide push pin. Okay. So at this point, we are at a procedure that executes when you click the BTN submit button. Right? This is what we're going to do where the cursor is blinking. The procedure begins here and it ends here, and that's where my cursor is blinking. So what I would recommend that you do is to start off with comments such as declarations, get user input, calculation, output. Notice that a comment begins with a single quotation mark. So these green words, they are like stickies that you post, or post-it notes that you post on your refrigerator door or wherever you post to remind you of stuff, right? That's exactly what these are. Now, when you're asking yourself, I don't know what to do first. I don't know, what should I do first, second, third? First, declare stuff. Second, get user input. Third, perform some sort of a calculation, and then generate an output. Sometimes these last two are combined into one. Okay? All right, so in terms of declaration, well, first of all, ask yourself, what is it that I need to get from the user? What is it that I need to give to the user? So if I go back over here, I definitely need the user to give me a score. Okay, so over here, I'm going to say dim user score as, now let's see here. We have different data types. Integer means that it's a whole number. Double means that it's a real number. Remember, whole numbers are numbers without a decimal point. Real numbers are numbers with a decimal point. A double is a type of real number. You could say float. A float is a small real number. A double is double the size of a real number, or of a float. Okay? So we'll just say double. All right. Now, why am I creating this? Or maybe a better question is this the same thing as this? Okay, so first of all, what do we call this thing over here? Text box, right? Okay, so in a text box, you type in what? Text. Make sense? Okay, so this is a text box. And in a text box, you type in text. Very good. This is a text box. And in a text box, you type in text. So I type in the number 4. What is that number 4? Is it a number or is it text? Very good. That is a text box. A text box means that the number 4 looks like this. It looks like text. It is not this. It is not the number 4. It is a representation of the number 4 in text form. Does that make sense? If I had a number box, that'd be great, but in Visual Basic, we don't have number boxes. We only have text boxes. So when the user types in 4, 94, 103, whatever, that is not being treated as a number. It is being treated as text. So what do we have to do? We have to get the number from this text box, and we have to convert it into a number and then place it into here. That's why I create this variable. Because I need to do math. I need to say, okay, hey, if you're greater than or equal to 94, or less than 70, or whatever the evaluation that I perform, I need to do math with the number that's typed into here, but that's typed in as text. So let's do this. We're going to go over here to get user input and say user score is going to be convert dot to double whatever is inside of this text box. Let me stop typing right here. Notice that I just type in TXT. This is the beauty of the Hungarian notation. By simply typing in TXT or LBL or BTN, whatever, I don't have to remember the name of the text box or the button or the label. By typing in that Hungarian notation, I get a list of all, in this case I only have one, but I could potentially get a list of one or more text boxes. So I just double click or tab on the keyboard, the one that I want. Now don't forget this, .te, in fact it already selects it, text. Double click. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the text from this text box. I'm going to convert that into a real number and place that into the user score variable. So whenever you see this symbol, which is called the assignment operator, you are always reading from right to left. Let me translate this into English. Get the text from the text box, convert it into a double, and place it into user score. See how I read right to left? That's how you would do that anytime you see this symbol. Okay? Good. Comments or questions? All right. So let's go to the calculation area. If is a very powerful statement. It works just like the word if in our English language. If this situation is true, then you do something. Well, if the user score is greater than or equal to 96, then now I'm about to place or type enter, or press enter rather, on my keyboard. Here we go. So this if statement is making an evaluation. Just like I tell my son, hey, you want to play Xbox? Well, if you finish your homework, then you can play Xbox. Right? Otherwise, get back to work. So that if statement is exactly the same here. It's a logical statement. It's a decision statement that says you're either going to do this or you're going to do that. What I'm about to show you, because you've seen some if statement videos already that I previously made, what I'm going to show you here is a multi-way if statement. So if this is true, then we want that label to display something such as this. Okay, so the label, LBL result, dot text, we'll say is going to be you got an A. Something like this, okay? Now that's if this is true. But what if it's not true? What if it is not true that the user score is not greater than or equal to 96? Well, then we need to consider the next possibility. So what I want you to do is I want you to type else if user score is greater than or equal to 94. Then, now watch what happens when I press enter. Okay? So, similar to the multiple buttons that you have on your car stereo, you can only press one at a time to listen to a radio station. That's what it's like here. Only one of these can be true, but not all of them can be true. So in this case, since the score is not greater than or equal to 96, I'm asking the question, well, is it at least greater than or equal to 94? And since I know it's not greater than or equal to 96, then it has to be less than 96 at this point. Otherwise, this would have been true. So over here, I'll just simply say LBL result.text. You got an A minus. What if that still is not true? Enter. Else if user score greater than or equal to 92. Then, so this is not true. This is not true. Is this true? Like maybe the user entered something that's greater than or equal to 92 and less than 94. If that is in fact the case, then we'll say LBL result is going to display the message. You got, I'm sorry, in quotation marks, you got a B plus. If that's still not the case, else if the user score is greater than or equal to 90, then LBL result of text, you got a B. Else if the user score is greater than or equal to 88, then LBL result, you got a B minus. And then finally, if your score is not greater than or equal to 88, then I'm just simply going to put else. Because if all the above else is false, then the message that I want to give to you is, unfortunately, failed. Let me explain to you how this works out. Let's say the user got a 93. Is 93 greater than or equal to 96? True or false? False. So I go from here to here. Is 93 greater than or equal to 94? False. So I go from here to here. Is 93 greater than or equal to 92? Yes, that's true. So from here, we execute the statement immediately underneath it, and that is this one over here. You are about to place this string into the text property of this label. Now watch what happens from here. Since this was executed, I jump out of the rest of these statements. So from here, I jump out, and now I'm about to execute any other statement outside of that if block. So only one of these gets executed. How about this? The student got an 80. Is 80 greater than 96? No. How about greater than or equal to 94? No. 92? No. Is 80 greater than or equal to 90? No. How about 88? No. Since all of the above was false, that's what the else clause does. The else clause is like, hey, since everything above is false, then at the very least you will execute what I have to say, which is namely assigning the string you failed to the text property of the label. Okay. All right. So in this case, we really have no output. This is really calculation and output at the same time. Let's see what happens when I run the program. Okay, so I'm going to run the program. And let's try some of these different grades, like 99, you got an A. All right, so let's see, 96, you got an A. 94, you got an A minus. 92, you got a B plus. How about 90? You got a B. 88, you got a B minus. How about 87? You failed, according to the Talbot grade scale. So only one of these gets executed, but not all of them, right? It just depends on which of these if statements is true. Save all. That's it. All right, so this is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this was helpful. See you next time.